Hey guys, welcome back to OverTakes. This is Kel.
And this is Misfit.
And we are here with our official power rankings. This is our first power ranking of the season, and this will be continually updated throughout the season. But this is going to be our initial going into the season, because we got a week, guys.
Yes.
One more week.
I am so juiced up for that. I've been, all week, last week, I was like, wow, finally, it's almost here. It's almost here. Even throughout the Super Bowl, which was extremely boring.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to touch on that. It's just, oh, my God. So, it was so boring. I mean, even as a football fan, I appreciate defense. But, yeah, it was... Exactly.
And it was actually watching a goat and another goat on the sideline.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, the Rams will be back.
Oh, for sure.
I kind of wish I was in Vegas right now, because I'm sure they're building, gigantic monuments to how much money they made.
Yeah.
All the people betting over and on the Rams from Los Angeles. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
It happens when you face...
But it's so hard to take the under anymore in the NFL, so...
Yeah. It's,
you never know, because it really could have gone the opposite way, where it just turned into a shootout.
Yeah, well, both of those teams, but you had two of the biggest defensive genius minds on the planet.
Exactly.
With 2 weeks to prepare. I thought it would have been at 24-17 or something like that, not 13-3.
Also, Greg Zerline, you can go fuck yourself, because you lost me almost $200. Because if he'd have hit that field goal at the end of the game, I'd have gotten a square.
That's right. Yep. I would have gotten a square in the first quarter if fucking Gostowski hit one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had 6-0. And Damon, the guy we work with, hit 2 quarters.
Yeah. No, he only got the first quarter, then Brendan got the second quarter.
Oh, because it was...
And then our UPS delivery guy
got the
last 2. Because it was 3-3 at the end of the third, and then he had 13-3 at the end of the game.
I knew somebody had 2 squares.
You son of a... I was so mad. That's why I wanted that. I needed that field goal. I mean, we already knew who was going to win at that point, but I was just like, come on, get this field goal. Get it. I need it.
I think the Rams, in that game, to equate it to Overwatch, it's when you're playing against the Brigida before the nerf.
Yeah.
It's just every time you try to do something, you're getting stunned, you're getting annihilated by the whip shot and all that crap.
Right.
Someone needs to nerf the Patriots.
It's even more
Jeff,
this is pre any nerfs to Brigida, before even the super high jump shield slam.
Yeah, that was during that, yeah. Okay, so let's move on a little bit. So we did have a map drop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
The Paris map, which is going to be a 2CP. Which thrills everybody, I'm sure. I messed around with it a little bit. I'm not going to lie, I didn't spend too much time on it. I've been trying to get back into the swing of playing a little bit more. I've been doing more, I've been grinding a little bit of Zen and Wrecking Ball. I've been trying to grind out a little bit of Wrecking Ball.
Nice.
But
I think my biggest problem with, especially, I'm more than willing to hop on the PTR for a new hero. I'm a little more interested to check it out. But with maps, I know I'm just going to play the arcade playlist of that map for the week that it's out. I'm just going to play that to learn it, and that's going to be how I'm going to go about it. I don't even bother checking them out on the PTR anymore.
Yeah, what I do is, and if you guys, it's just something that I do. I go in and I create a custom game, and I do it so it's just me in a skirmish by myself, and I wander around the map and look at stuff. Because not even just for the aesthetics, where you can go, where you can hide, where the cover is, where the high ground is. I think this is kind of a hybrid 2CP map. It kind of plays a little like Horizon and a little like Hanamura and a little like a couple of the other ones. I still fucking hate it.
The first point very much reminds me of the first point of Blizzard World.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of just that isolated.
You got that really, really tall, narrow choke point.
Yeah.
That's
kind of Rialto-ish as well.
Yeah.
Oh, they're both European cities.
Mostly, yeah. That's mostly just the design aesthetic. That first point feels more like the not even Rialto in general, but just the the Retribution event.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to leave on the top of the restaurant or whatever.
Yeah, that's
like that first point definitely feels like that part. If it had more walls.
What's that coming back in, like a month? April?
It was like April, I think, last year.
Yeah, it was about April, because they dropped Brig, and then they dropped that event. Because Brig came out in March.
Did Brig come out before that?
Yeah, she came out in March.
Okay. Yeah,
you could play her on that whatever
That's
mode.
right, yeah.
When everybody said she was trash, and no one's going to ever play this character, and we were like, no, this is going to change the meta.
Yep.
And people were like, come on, they haven't made a good... then the hero was too good.
Yep. Exactly.
Anyway, so, enough of the map. We'll get more into the map when it gets into the league.
Yeah.
Probably, I'd say stage 2 they'll have that in, because it's not even on live yet.
Right, like it's not on live, so it's obviously we know it's not going to be part of the first stage, because they've already announced what the maps are, and that wasn't one of them, because they didn't even announce this map yet. Obviously they want to get it on live, make sure any bugs and kinks are worked out of it,
which
for the most part.
There are going to be some.
Right. So you don't want to put that in your league right away. So
and they need
I think stage 2 would make the most sense for it.
Maybe even hold it till stage 3 so these guys can get some time on it.
Yeah.
A good amount of time, not just... Kind of like when they threw Blizzard World in there and it was a shit show.
Yeah.
You know, was it the second stage last year? They put Blizzard World in there and it was like no one could get to the second point.
Right. And the nice thing is with this
unless you're playing the Mayhem, and then you could take it all the way out. Anyway.
With the first stage, though, it is going to be cool to see 2 maps that we haven't seen yet in the league, and that's Rialto and Busan.
Yeah, Busan,
so I'm excited to see both of those. Especially, Rialto, I think, is going to be really fascinating with them. Yeah. But I think there's going to be some spots on Busan
that's going to be...
where these guys are going to really pull out some things that no one has seen.
Yeah, you're gonna see what do they call it? The Chinese cheese. You're gonna see some of that thrown in, and you're gonna see some goats on some of those things. It's gonna be fun. We'll dive more into the map and where we think the meta's gonna go next week before the season starts. Probably a couple days before it starts. Holy shit! It's like here.
Right.
We
have a week.
We have a week.
It's crazy.
Oh man, I am so ready. It's been too long.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're gonna hit the power rankings now. First one of the year. We're gonna continually do this throughout the season. It's not like our final judgment on these teams, and this is a combined one.
Yeah. We each kind of have our own, and we're gonna keep those up on social media, and we'll put them in the videos where we individually have the teams, but then this is kind of our collaborative. This is kind of where we both think they could be kind of a little give and take and all that.
Yeah, so you'll see the graphics coming up. Well, it'll have mine and Kel's, and then it'll have the overall for the show. So here's ours, our individual ones, 20 through 11, and then we're gonna do 10 through 1, and then the show one we'll put up, as we're going. So here we go. We're gonna start off with the bottom and work our way up. And collaboratively, we have the Chengdu Hunters in the last spot.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about this one, or?
I mean, they're just not a good team in general. Like they don't have. They probably have one of the weakest rosters of any of the new teams, and the most questions with their roster as well. Do we really know if their star players are going to be able to perform at the level that they need to really win in the league? They have some pieces here and there, but I just don't feel like it's going to be enough. And then they have, you add that on to playing some really, really good teams as well. It's just not going to be pretty for them.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. Plus, and then they have this visa thing going on.
Yes.
As well, so they're not grinding at the studio and not getting a feel. I think that's a big thing that people forget. Philadelphia managed to work their way through it last year.
So
early on they were shaky.
Yeah, there's definitely hope, but
to start,
it's gonna be ugly.
These the 3 bottom teams are interchangeable, in our opinion. It's not going to surprise us either way unless they win games,
right? Which this next team is going to have a really hard time doing because they have to play they have to play basically our top 5 in their first 5 games.
Yeah, so stage 1 is going to be... And they're not a team that's going to sneak up and beat somebody.
Yeah, especially any of those teams.
No. I mean, yeah, they have Wizard Young, but... I mean...
They got Wizard Young and Janice. That's, like, the best...
And Guido.
I
mean, those guys have
some experience. Yeah.
They might win one game at the end if they're playing Florida or Chengdu or something like that.
I think they do play Florida at some point in the first stage. So, like, that's their best chance to win. But, hey, the Mayhem, that's who we have next.
Yep. Oh, God. Yeah, they're going to be terrible. And you know what? Maybe they can surprise me. I doubt it. I don't like being this skeptical about my team, but from a player standpoint, yeah, they got better. But how much better? Not a ton. They made a lot of lateral moves. They downgraded in a couple positions. They picked up teams that garbage, essentially, and a couple of Korean players.
Yeah, they picked up some cast-off Korean players.
And BQB is going to be suspended, I think, for the first 3 matches, or first match, I don't know.
They got some really good Korean players, but are they going to be good enough together? Because that's the big key with a lot of the other teams, is they picked up either full rosters or partial rosters, guys that have played together, whereas very few of these guys have actually played together. They don't have...
They have no synergy.
They have no synergy.
Both of their coaches speak English.
Their coaches speak English. Half their roster, or most of their roster, speaks Korean. They fired the only coach that spoke Korean, and they fired him for good reason, because he was apparently lazy and just didn't care. Yeah. So it's a whole big mess, and I really feel sorry for you. Now you know how I feel as a Browns fan.
Oh, so. Believe me, I've had my share of bad teams. I've had teams that actually just rip my guts out, like the Rangers in hockey every year. Now they're just terrible. So, hey.
Right, at least when they're just straight up bad, like, you have zero expectations, but, like, when you kind of get those little glimmers of hope and then you lose, that's the worst. I feel you. That's way worse.
I can definitely relate to you, because my team is very similar to your football team a couple of years ago, not this year.
Yeah. Now we're finally looking like it's going to be...
Yeah, picking up a garbage coach from a shitty team that has no idea how to be a head coach. Mike Pettin.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then, promoting a guy who had no idea he was even going to get promoted without giving him an interview.
Yeah.
For your GM.
I just don't understand. They promoted... Their fucking academy team is garbage.
Yeah.
And then promote the coach?
Yeah.
That's like when they, in baseball or football, when they hire those managers and coaches that are like on that... Oh, he lost 116 games with the Mariners last year. Let's hire him.
Right.
What the fuck, man?
Like when you see at the end of the season, you get all these guys that are getting head coaching interviews or head manager interviews for baseball, and like you're just like, wait, why are you interviewing that guy? Their team didn't win like anything. They were at the bottom of their division. Like the season just ended. All the good coaches are still coaching because they're in the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, we're just going to pick him up because, you know why? He's cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Now we found the reason. Anyway, let's move up to...
Bengals.
Hey, did they get some paint for that stadium? Yeah. Hey, Mike Brown. A little orange paint in there, maybe?
Well, no, he has to charge the taxpayers.
Oh, yeah. That's fucking cheapskate. He didn't even cheap out. The coaches were so bad on that team. Anyway.
You're right.
Hugh, bye.
We're gonna hire the quarterbacks coach that used to coach for us when he got fired because we promoted him at the offensive coordinator and he was hot garbage.
How much?
Then he went to be quarterback coach. How much does he want to get paid to be head coach? Oh, less than $1 million a year. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll take him.
Let's get that guy.
I'll take him.
All right.
We can give him Josh McDaniels, even though he flopped in Denver.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those guys said, you know what? It's a hard no for me on this interview.
Hard pass.
Yeah. All right, let's move to 17. So we have the Boston Uprising at 17.
Yeah. I mean, we've done a lot tearing this team apart.
Yeah.
so many poor decisions, just poorly managed at times. You trade away your best player. They have 0 DPS players that have any kind of track record or like.
Yeah, and
you lose Striker,
and then you lose Nako as well.
Yeah, like it's just a mess.
And then you have one of your guys, one of your 2 DPS players on your roster is suspended for the first game.
I think, at least 1 game, possibly 2. I can't remember for sure, but yeah, he's at least going to miss 1 game. So you're going to have to put like goats. One of your supports or just run goats, even if it doesn't work. Like, who knows?
Run something. They're going to be trash, especially to start. Could they turn it around? Distinct possibility they could turn it around. They have decent coaches. I mean, that's the weird thing about this team is like with how poorly run some parts of it are. Like they still managed to. I mean, look at what they did last year. No one expected that team to do anything, let alone win out an entire stage, minus the playoffs. And without the player, their star player at that point.
Yeah.
Dream
with that whole thing.
Dream pervert.
And then to make the playoffs and actually have a decent run in the playoffs like they did. Like it was surprising, especially when you hear all the things that have been happening in the background. So there's something that they do right, but I just don't feel like they're going to be able to capture that again.
No.
And I really have a feeling that a lot of that was to do with Striker.
Yeah. Striker,
like he must have just been infectious with his desire to win and just play his ass off, really.
Yeah, and he had meltdowns and stuff with the coaching staff and all that.
Right.
All right, let's move on to the next team. We have at 16, the Paris Eternal. Now, this team is odd.
Yeah.
We have them low. I think...
we probably have them lower than most, but even then, like, not too many people are putting them above top 10. So, like, there's not a whole lot to really like about this team.
Yeah, I get a weird... Yeah, I get a kind of a Mayhem from last year vibe a little bit, where you're going in with, all right, they have Ben Best, they have a bunch of guys that are really good, and they should be able to do something, but then you're looking at it, you're like, are they better than... Can they beat the Valiant? No. Can they beat Dallas? Probably not. Are they going to beat any team in the top 5? Probably not. Are they they can beat, like, your Bostons, they probably can sneak a win on a couple of the other mid-range teams. They're kind of average.
See, you get more of the Mayhem vibe. I get more of a Outlaws from last year, but slightly worse.
Yeah. A little bit in both. All right, yeah, I'll give you that.
But I think they're going to have a similar issue to the Outlaws. I'm very worried about their supports. I think their supports are going to be what make or break this team. And I don't have a lot of faith that their supports are going to be good enough to help them out. And then also we talked about it on the last show, one of the shows before, when we talked about Soon, in that he's just not that hard carry player.
And he has to have ground some grinded out, however you want to call it,
right?
Some other heroes, because Widow and Tracer right now are kind of non-existent.
Yeah.
And those are his 2 big heroes.
Right.
So what do you have in him?
Exactly. There's definitely a lot of question marks with this team, and I just don't think it's going to be enough.
No, I don't either. To start, they're going to be pretty low. I think they're going to struggle quite a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, again, this is a team that has potential to be better than where we're ranking them. But I just think as of this moment, they're not any better than 16.
No, I think that's I think that's fair. Okay, let's move up to 15. We have the Guangzhou Charge. Now, this team is another odd one.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do. They have some players.
Right. They're definitely better than Chengdu. I think they have a better roster, better coaches, just a better structure in general. But I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, I think they're going to be... I think early on, they're going to struggle.
Yes.
We talked about this when we were talking about them in our team preview shows. They're going to struggle early. They have a couple of guys that can help them out with that. I think Hotba's going to be better than people think.
Yeah.
I liked him sort of last. He wasn't as good as Poco.
Right.
It was the problem with the Fusion when they kept playing him. I think he could fit in really well and do really well with his team.
And not having that other player that is as good or better than him is going to help him out a lot, because he's not going to have that pressure of like, I have to perform in order to keep my job.
Yeah.
Like, he is probably the best player on this roster, at least as far as we know about.
It wasn't in Korean contenders or Chinese contenders or anything like that. And there's also language things and all that kind of stuff. That stuff comes into play. We saw it last year. I mean, it's going to be rough.
Right. That also plays a huge factor. You've got 3 different languages spoken on this team. You've got some really talented guys, but yeah, there's just a lot that can go wrong, and I don't feel like it's going to start off very well.
Okay, so moving up, the next team. Now, I had this team a lot lower than you did in our individual ones. But we pretty much put them in the middle of where we were. Yeah.
But at the same time, this is pretty much where I
think they're going to peak.
Yeah, this is where I feel like we're going to have them either end the season or their like highest point.
Yeah. And that's the Houston Outlaws.
Just like they were on the last season, on the outside looking in on the playoffs, not even getting into the play-in.
Yeah, I think they're just their supports are terrible.
And they have terrible supports. Their
DPS is questionable.
Yeah.
Outside of Linkser, but Linkser needs help.
Right. And is Dante going to be a big enough pickup for them? Is his hero pool going to expand past Tracer? And Sombra, I think, was his best. Yeah. He was a really good Sombra.
So he's probably going to be playing a lot of Sombra, which is going to work when they're playing against goats and things like that.
Right. But is it going to be enough?
And Jake is just whatever.
Honestly,
Junkrat main.
Jake's a good player, but he could be... I don't know. I feel like at this point, he's better suited for other things. Yeah. I really liked him as a caster during the World Cup.
I thought he was great.
I think he should consider that as his career. His future, yeah. And I mean, like...
There's a lot of questions, too, like I have with, like, Cool Matt. Everyone is like, Cool Matt's great. Average.
He's average, yeah.
Muma's above average.
Yeah.
Muma's probably the best player on their team. Yeah. Muma and Linkser. Right now.
Yeah. And that's really not saying that much.
No, I mean... Because you have guys coming in, everyone's saying, Muma last year was probably one of the best tanks in the league, main tanks. You got guys coming in the league that are better than him now.
Yeah.
Guys on like Vancouver and, other...
Right, like last season, when there was 12 teams, he was a top 5 tank. Now, he's like a top 10 tank.
Yeah.
When you have 20 teams, but that moved him back considerably because you've got at least 4 or 5 tanks that just came into the league that I could absolutely say, without a doubt, are better than him right now.
Yeah. Roar, Bumper. Those are 2 right off the top of my head, easily.
I mean, and then you can even throw in some of the later additions last year with Sado and
Sado,
and OGE. So there's a lot of competition for really good main tanks right now.
Yeah, and, it's just they're average at best.
Right.
I think they're less than average.
Yeah. But I mean, where we're putting them, they're pretty much below average.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Hate if you want. I'm ready for it, and I'll give you 9 million reasons why. Yep. I don't think they're going to do anything. But I can't really talk because my team's not going to do diddly shit anyway. So.
But that being said, I do feel like there's going to be some games that are going to be used as justification of, look at what this team did. Yeah. Like, okay, but look at what their opponent was doing. Look at all the other factors that are going into it. But there's going to be games where they look absolutely dominant. I have no doubt in my mind that that's going to happen, but it's going to be the other games that are going to be the really big factors. Like, there's going to be games where they just completely dominate, but then it's when they get into the close games is when they always choke. Yeah. And I think that's their biggest issue, is they just don't have the person that can come up big in the spot when they need them to.
Exactly. And, boy, they mirror their football team.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. When you need them to come through the most.
Yep.
Nope. Deshaun Watson, fumble.
Hey, it wasn't my fault. Start dancing on the sideline after you get a first down for the first time in the third quarter.
Yeah. That's a monumental...
Jesus.
That's like... In this league, that would be like Lynx are teabagging someone when they're...
Right.
When they're 1v6 and with the point going away.
When they're already down 3 maps to 0.
Yeah.
And then you win the last map and you start, like, bragging on them and teabag. It's like, you already lost, man. This game is over.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so let's move up to the next team, which we have varying opinions on. They're pretty much in the same range with this team.
Yeah.
And we're high on them, too. It's the Toronto Defiant.
Yeah, I really don't understand how so many people are kind of dogging this team, because they do have some talented guys. I
think so, too.
I really see them as what possibly Boston did last year, where no one really thought of them, or even Philadelphia. Like, they really have the potential to be one of those types of teams. They've got a really broad-ranging roster of players, but I think that they can make it work.
Yeah, the first couple weeks are going to suck for them.
Yes.
Because Nako's out for 3 games.
Yeah.
These suspensions are going to matter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's probably why they're as low as they are for us. Because Nako not playing is going to be huge.
Because I think their first week they play 2 matches, their second week they play 1. Mm-hmm. So he's not available for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's huge. Especially with someone of his caliber at flex support.
Right. And you're playing less games now. So each game matters more.
Yeah.
So
you went from basketball to the NBA to NFL type of schedule.
Yeah.
Where every game matters. I mean, you're not quite to the college football one where if you lose, you're done.
Yeah. But it's definitely much more. It's gonna be much more cutthroat, and I think it's gonna make for more competitive games, and that's something that's gonna be awesome. But yeah, with Toronto, I really think that people are really underselling this team.
I think so too.
They're going to have a rough start. I think that's going to be a unanimous... Everyone's going to feel like this team is not going to start off well.
Yeah, Overreaction Monday is going to be...
Oh, yeah.
We told you Toronto's terrible.
Right.
They didn't have Neko playing.
Right. They're missing one of their best players.
Never mind. I was going to take Jonak off of NYXL. They put Animo in there, and
they do just fine.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean,
bad analogy.
They wouldn't be as dominant. That's the biggest key.
If you took, say, you took Carpe off of
Philly.
Yeah. You can't judge like some of that stuff that was happening with London. I mean, Birdring was hurt, and Fury was hurt in the middle of the season. What are you gonna do?
Or take Fisher off of the Gladiators.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's somewhat similar to that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think Toronto's they're gonna climb up these power rankings.
Yeah, I think
really
so too.
do.
I think they're gonna surprise a lot of people.
Yeah. So next we have a team that won 0 games last year, making a big rebound this year. I think they're gonna be right in that playoff hunt, play-in tournament for sure.
I think end of the year they could be if they stabilize and everything goes, smoothly, with coaching and all that kind of stuff. I think they could hit top 10.
Yeah.
Maybe even above top 10.
They've completely overhauled their roster.
Shanghai Dragons, by the way.
Yeah. I just realized that we didn't even say them yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shanghai Dragons. I mean, obviously, that's who we were talking about because it's the only team that didn't win a game last year.
And I'm going to interject here while we're talking about Shanghai. Can we please stop with the when is Shanghai going to win their first game? It's a different fucking team.
Right.
For crying out loud.
Like, because
people
are going to lose their minds if they lose their first game. But I'm pretty sure their first game is a pretty tough matchup. I think
they got the Spark.
Oh, yeah. That's actually going to be a good game.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a good match to start. But
if they lose that, people are going to lose their minds, and they're going to be like, they're not going to win another game this season again.
When are they going to win their first game? It's a different fucking team.
Right.
Please stop.
Give it time.
Yes.
It's not like they kept their...
They don't have 5 King and fucking...
Right.
And all the rest of the morons that were on the team before. This is a good fucking team now.
It's not like they kept their head coach after they went 1-15, and they go 0-16 after that.
Get the fuck out of my office.
Even if you guys are NFL fans or football fans
Just
in
look it
general,
up.
look up the article that came out a couple weeks ago about the dysfunction in the Browns or the Browns in general. It's amazing. Yeah. There are some hysterical moments.
Most of them from their ex-coach.
And then there's one moment in particular from their social media team that is amazing, and I would not be surprised. Well, actually, no, there's no way it would happen in this league because they're too tech savvy in this league. But like, it just shows like how incompetent some of these people are. Oh my god, it's amazing. But yeah, look it up. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, so I think Shanghai's going to be good. Rant aside.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win games. I don't think they're going to surprise people because these guys see them. They know what these guys are doing.
Exactly.
The narrative of the lowly dragons, I don't think it's not happening.
It's going to go away quickly. It will be there to start the season because that's just a storyline and people are really going to pull on it, but it's going to go away very quickly.
Yeah, it is. Unlike teams like the Mayhem and Boston, they did not make themselves better from last year. They made themselves worse.
Yeah.
Mayhem
stayed in the same.
Yeah, Mayhem more on the management side, Boston more on the roster side.
Exactly.
But they're headed in the right direction. They could go higher. Let's move on to number 11.
This is a team that we've really we've talked about a lot of where we think they could be. They could be a top 5 team. They could be a bottom 5 team. They could really go all over the place. Yeah. But putting them right in the middle, I think, is probably where they deserve to be right now.
Yeah.
Just based on their potential, but then also based on the questions, and that's Atlanta Reign.
Yeah. I think Atlanta is going to be... Atlanta's another team. Them and Toronto are like polarizing as far as the way where people are putting them.
Yeah.
People are either thinking they're going to be trash, which seems to be a lot of people. I mean, Dufresne aside, it's a good roster.
Right. Even without Dufresne, I think that's what people are focusing on so much is because he is such an X factor, and I get it. But even without him, this is a really solid roster that they have.
Yeah.
The biggest question is how they can really put it together and be cohesive and work together. But if they can, this team has all the potential in the world.
Yeah, and if Dufresne happens to be, on point, which from that weird video that they did, he could be.
And from watching his stream and just so many other things that are happening, he has changed his attitude in a way that I think is going to be much more fitting for how they want him to be and just how the league works. And I really think it's going to benefit this team and him.
Yeah, I mean, that aside, will he get suspended? Probably. But I think at some point it's going to matter, but not matter because they have a good enough roster. Other than him, he might not even start. Which from what I'm hearing, he's probably not going to. He's going to come in and play, here and there to start off, which is fine.
Just to get him worked in and back into the competitive swing of things with really being on the main stage and all that. Because you can practice and do all that so much, but once it's not real until you step out on that stage.
Yeah, and the big lights are on, and the people are, all there with all their gear on and all that stuff, and we don't have, and I'm sorry to go back to the man, we don't even have a fucking entrance team. No one can do an entrance on my team. That was at least entertaining,
right?
They're kind of boring. Anyway,
yeah, that's a bummer.
All right, let's hit another polarizing team while we're at it. Number 10, we got the Dallas Fuel. We have them at 10. I had them higher. You had them. Well, we had them about in the same range on our individual ones. I think there's a lot of potential in this team to do better. But to start, I think right in the middle spot is probably where they're going to be.
Yeah.
I think Jane and Arrow, we talked about it. I think it's going to be really a good fit.
I think they're going to be a much better coached team.
Yeah.
But losing some of the players that they lost, mostly Seagull, I think is going to hurt them, and they're going to have to find some cohesion and just they're going to have to find their new person to rally around and just really they got to find themselves in general.
Yeah. And I think picking up Closer was a good or closer.
However you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to help. That's going to solidify that main support. And then you have, Unko is good.
Yeah.
He was better with Dallas than he was with the Valiant.
Yeah, I think he fits
that was
better
the best
with this
trade.
team.
That was like in any kind of sports that I can think of.
That was the most ideal trade I've ever seen.
Other than, I would have to say Champ Bailey and Clinton Portis.
Yeah.
Back in the early 2000s in the NFL. That's like the closest trade. Like, everybody made out from that.
Right.
Yeah, everybody did well.
It's rare. It's very rare that you get a trade that is beneficial, that is truly beneficial for both teams. But this is one where absolutely that is the case.
Yeah, and they have one of the top, like we've talked about it. OGE is probably one of the best tanks in the league.
Yeah.
Then you have Effect coming back. You don't know what you're going to get from him.
Right.
But
he's
an X factor.
Huge X factor. If you get the best out of him, you're going to be sitting pretty. But then he is just such a volatile personality that he can absolutely derail everything that you've built.
And he gets derailed pretty easy when maps start going sideways and, something bad happens in a match. It seems like, it snowballs with him. But if he's in his right mind and, he's gotten help and that kind of thing and he plays to his potential, he's one of the best DPS players in the league. So I think right now, week 1, preseason, I'm 10 is a good spot for them because I don't think they're quite up in the levels of some of the other teams we're going to talk about. I don't think they're far off though. That is going to do it. So thanks guys for joining us and thanks for all your support, all the likes, subscribes. Don't forget full episode downloads are now available on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And whatever you have your pod picker upper thing, your podcast snatcher app or whatever picks up the apps for you.
Podcast Snatcher 3000.
Yeah.
Stitcher, I think, is one.
Whatever you stick in your snatch. Anyway, demonetized.
Yeah. Not that we were getting
Not that we were getting monetized anyway. Anyway,
but hey guys, subscribe to the channel. Even if you're listening on podcasts, go to our YouTube, give us a subscribe. Subscribe on whatever. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter.
Because guess what, guys? Stuff. Next week it's live, man.
Yep.
We are going, and we're gonna have some stuff to start off the season with. Might get some special stuff going on the first night because I'm off.
Nice.
I have to work, so I very well could be streaming or watching the matches on in Discord with you guys. We'll talk about them and see what's going on. But that's Power Rankings for our first Power Rankings this season. Thanks a lot, guys. We will talk to you later.
Catch you guys on the next one. Later.